on my dashboard, but your name just disappeared. Should I assume that you no longer want to make any intervention so that I proceed to your colleague? Proceed.
There it comes. Mr. Speaker, in 1976, a few passengers, Israeli nationals, were kidnapped and they landed in Entebbe. And the government of Israel, because of the meaning of a life of an Israeli, came to Israel came to Entebbe with the best of their best, led by Jonathan Yoni, because an Israel life matters. I had thought, Mr. Speaker, because of Corona, COVID-19, Kenyans would appreciate the role of doctors in our lives. I have watched in this country, I've listened in this parliament, including this afternoon, people, our colleagues, attempting to use this opportunity to attack doctors. Be careful. Doctors are just as Kenyans as we are. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, punish them for being amongst the finest in the country. The same doctors you are vilifying, Senator Cherargei, where were you in your primary school when your classmate beat you and qualified with better grades to become a doctor and you couldn't? Mr. Speaker, I request the Senator of Nandi to be apologetic. In fact, it's a privilege to him that we have introduced a system of adult education, Kumbaru, in degrees. Otherwise, traditionally, he should not appear in court at all, because it's only Kumbaru that has allowed him to become a lawyer. He should be told the people he's berating are the same ones who got an A in maths, an A in physics, an A in chemistry, an A in everything, when he was struggling with C minus, C, those kind of things. We must pay doctors. What is the big deal? And
what's your point of order, Senator Madago?
Honorable Speaker, understanding Order 105 statement of fact, I don't dispute that doctors require A's in grades to qualify, but can the Senator for Kakamega prove that Senator Cherargei had C minuses and C? Can he provide evidence or withdraw and apologize?
Mr. Speaker, if it pleases the Senator of Washington, I have withdrawn. But withdrawing does not change the fact. It simply means that the fact has been removed on the menu. Mr. Speaker, I don't know. I'm very disturbed when I hear a lot of voices on the minority side pushing the correct agenda, and the majority on the majority side defending the wrong agenda. I wonder, who told members of parliament that you were elected to come to parliament so as to support the government even when in its policy the government is wrong? Who told you? It is our responsibility on the majority side, on the minority side to critically critique government policy so that we make it better. Mr. Speaker, if we do not correct the problem of these doctors, do you know it can go on for the whole year? For your information, colleagues, your child who tonight will have an asthmatic attack, God forbid, is not going to be treated by anybody else other than the medical interns at the private hospitals. Because we senior doctors do not go on call. The younger doctors, the ones you're calling unqualified people, they are the ones who are on the first line. They are on call throughout the night, so they moonlight. They go for locum in private practice so as to make up. These guys can remain on this strike for 1 year because when they are on locum, they are paid better. Number two, the principle of perpetual succession. The CBA that was negotiated between the doctors those years before was between the doctors and the minister of that time. I think it was Mutahi Kagwe or somebody. So what Mutahi Kagwe and his fellow cabinet agreed is as binding as the one that Nakhumicha will agree with the doctors. And I want to appeal to Nakhumicha. Nakhumicha, relax. You are our kid sister. Relax completely. I told you, you were in Ekolomani a few months ago, and you said you're going to close Igo Hospital because you found the mortuary. You're not going to close. You're going to demote it from level 4 to some other level because the mortuary service and ambulance service was having a problem. That is not your role, Minister. Your role is to correct, to improve where it is not working. I want to appeal to my sister and tell her that when your day will come, you will be alone. Ask Linturi. Today, Linturi is facing the music alone. Accountability is an individual issue. Go all out of your way, Minister, and help the government to fix the problem of doctors returning on duty. And it's not difficult. I hear, where is the chairman of finance committee is not here. But I think it is, they're looking for 4.9 billion shillings. If you take the CDF, 200 million per constituency times 290, that is 58 billion shillings. If you just remove 4.9 so that an MP is getting slightly less CDF than they are getting, you'll pay the doctors and there'll be no noise. There is a young man called Ndindi Nyoro, the chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee, Finance something. That committee in the National Assembly that advises Parliament on issues of appropriation, which figures go where and what not. Ndindi Nyoro, my good brother, relax, work. Instead of setting your eye on an imaginary year called 2032, where your age mates are telling you that you will be ABCD, concentrate, do your work for a few years. Before you came there, Mutaba Musimi was there. Before Mutaba Musimi came there, others were there. Don't use that opportunity to deny key players the benefit of support from the commonwealth of this country called the budget. Mr. Speaker, I therefore will continue insisting that doctors be supported to go back on duty so that we help President William Ruto to succeed. Even his tenure, it will go down in history for 5 years that the medical services collapsed. It is the single agenda that would cause the voters not to want to re-elect our government. So those of us who are supporting that agenda of doctors be paid, we are the ones who are helping the president to get re-elected in 2027. There is no shortcut. It's a question of calling people to the polling station. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the chairman of Health has put in his best. Chairman, we support you. I know how limited your input can be if you don't enjoy the powers of the cabinet, but that does not mean that we shall give up. We will only look for better ways of making sure that doctors return to hospital. Finally, Mr. Speaker, allow me to allow some people to hate doctors, to call them the names they want. Even if you don't like doctors, then like the patients. Because the patients is where you find your wife, where you find your children, where you find your parents, Mr. Speaker. So, if you don't learn to like your parents, your wife, your children, and your friends, when you lose them, the doctors don't come to bury them. It is you who is going to bury them. And I'm glad that the Senator for Nandi has now come back. I wish we could change standing orders so that he could be given another chance to apologize to doctors. Those of us, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, inasmuch I respect the ranking member, the Senator of Kakamega, Mr. Speaker, two points of orders. One, I don't need to apologize to anybody because my facts are unanswered. I said if there is a way we can have conversation about internship payments in this country. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I'm rising on Standing Order 101. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 101 talks that you cannot talk about another member of parliament who is not. No senator shall impute improper motive to any other senator or to a member of the National Assembly, except upon a specific substantive motion of which at least 3 days' notice has been given, calling into question the conduct of that senator or member of National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, Senator Boni Khalwale cannot be allowed to be making sweeping statements. These are House of Rules and Orders. Did you listen? Trying to discuss the member of National Assembly of Kiharu constituency, Mr. Speaker, creating a perception among the eyes of Kenyans that instead of doing his job as chairperson of Budgets and Appropriation Committee, he is doing politics. Is it in order, without bringing a substantive motion to discuss on the conduct of member of National Assembly, Kiharu member of Parliament, National Assembly, is Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, Mr. Speaker? Inasmuch as he has his opinion about him or whatever he does, Mr. Speaker, our standing orders guide us at any given. Can the Senator of Kakamega withdraw and apologize? Because tomorrow somebody else will come and discuss another member of National Assembly or even the conduct of another person who they are not here to defend themselves, Mr. Speaker. I know he has been getting away with many of the things, creating snipes against colleagues, and Mr. Speaker, Senator Boni Khalwale should behave like a majority chief whip. Unless he is the majority chief whip in government but in opposition, he should choose sides. You cannot be having your cake and eat it, Mr. Speaker.
Your point, Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's just that the distinguished Senator for Nandi came in at the tail end of my contribution. He would have seen that I did not raise anything substantive about the Member of Parliament for Kiharu. I know the rules. You came in at the tail end. But, Mr. Speaker, having said like that, I don't know why it is occurring to the distinguished senator to become the barometer to measure how somebody should serve when he is in the office of the government whip. Mr. Speaker, the positions that people have in this country, Mr. Speaker, they are earned. You are here as a senator because you won in Bomet. Cherargei, you are here as a senator because you won in Nandi. I'm here for the same reason. And the fact that I became the chief whip, my brother, it is because of the contribution I made to form the government. You did not invite me to the government. I made my contribution. And therefore, if you think my contribution does not meet the position I hold today, then please kindly go and justify that you contributed more than me. I don't think there's a single vote you added to William Ruto because all the votes in Nandi, Ruto was going to get anyway.
Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I conclude by telling my brother, for the very final time, if we must remind you, be reminded that for you to become the professional you are, it matched your IQ, intelligence quotient. And for those doctors who you're belittling to become doctors, it matched their intelligence quotient. And for your information, Mr. Speaker,
Senator Boni.
Your IQ, the IQ of a doctor is
Boni.
above 100 foot,
Senator Boni.
if you know what that means.
Senator Boni Khalwale.
Yeah.
Senator Cherargei, resume your seat. Senator Boni Khalwale, you have concluded your comments, I believe. If not, I will direct that you conclude your comments on it. Senator Cherargei, allow Senator Boni to just conclude.
Yeah.
Allow Senator Boni to. Honorable Senators, order, Honorable Senators, order, Honorable Senators, order, Honorable Senators. Order, Senators. Order, Honorable Senators. I believe you all know the emotiveness of this discussion that we have had. And I am seeing the interest. Senator Boli, resume your seat. And I'll not allow you to speak any further. I will allow only one more member from either side to speak to these statements. We have expended over 1 hour on this particular statement. I will allow one member from either side, then we progress to deal with other matters in this particular assignment. Senator Boli. Order, Senator Boni. Senator Manzo, you already spoke to this. Then the next person is Senator Eddie.
Thank you.
Senator Eddie.
Hey, I've been waiting. Senator Khalwale, I was protecting you. Can you protect me by listening? Senator Khalwale, now
Order, Senators. Order, Senators. Allow Senator Eddie to be heard in silence. Proceed, Senator Eddie.
Mr. Speaker, since I got into this house, there is no day I have tried to disparage or in any way belittle any report from any committee or from any individuals who have been given tasks on any issue in this house. But, Mr. Speaker, I must say that the thought expressed by the Committee of Health in this particular document has disappointed me. And it has disappointed me because, Mr. Speaker, I really need your attention. Because the noise I'm hearing here is interfering with my thought process.
Order, Senator Omogeni. Order, Senator Chute.